Hello YouTube divers, this is Water Dive 122 and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today we are going to be counting down the 10 studio albums from one of the most successful, most influential, and one of the most iconic bands from the European power metal and symphonic metal scene. We are going to be talking about Finland's very own Nightwish. Now Nightwish, they're a pretty interesting band. They're very popular amongst a lot of power metal and symphonic metal fans and just metalheads in general. They are led by their amazing composer and lyricist, Tuomas Halopainen, who is also their keyboard player. Excuse me. He's made a lot of great material for this band. He's a ridiculously talented composer. He's just amazing. And then you have Empu Volonen on the guitars. And he's a pretty good guitar player. Then you had their iconic bass player Marko Heitala, who was in the band from, I believe it was from Century Child up until Human to Nature. So he was in the band for over 20 years. Then you had their iconic drummer Jukka. That's his first name. I cannot pronounce his last name to save my life. But he's their iconic drummer. He's also no longer in the band, sadly. And then you had a revolving door at vocalists. All of the vocalists that Nightwish have had over the years, they're pretty divisive on. You had Tarja Turunen, who was their most popular and most iconic vocalist. She was on their first 5 albums. And then you had Annette Olsen, who was on the following 2 records, following Once, their 5th album. And then you have the last 3 albums, which feature their current vocalist, Floor Jansen, on the vocals. Each of them had different vocal techniques, and they each bring their own vocal talents to the table. But we're not really here to talk about that. Let's talk some Nightwish albums, shall we? Alright, so we got 10 records, so let's jump right into the ranking. So coming in last, at number 10, we've got their debut album, Angels Fall First, from 1997. The reason why this is low, why this is last for me, is because there's not a large number of tracks that I really, really enjoy on this album. It's got some okay songs here and there, but really the only songs I really like on this record are Beauty and the Beast, which is a nice male and female vocal duet. The Carpenter's a fun song. The Lappy Quadrilogy, all 4 parts, all of them are great. And my favorite song has to be the opening track, Elven Path. I think it's a very underrated song from Nightwish. I wish they would play it more often. But I mean, overall, Angels Fall First. I would say it's an okay debut album. You could definitely tell this is a debut album. In fact, Tuomas Halopainen has gone on record to say that Angels Fall First should have never been the debut album to begin with. And this was pretty much just a demo. You could definitely tell that in the production of the album. But, I mean, overall, Angels Fall First, it's pretty mid, honestly. Let's move on. Coming in at number 9, we've got the 2007 album, Dark Passion Play. This is the first album to feature Annette Olsen on lead vocals. And in my opinion, she's my least favorite vocalist from Nightwish. I just don't think that her vocal talents are necessarily fit within Nightwish's lush symphonic metal sound. But I mean, the material that's on here, you could definitely tell the effort was there to try and make those adjustments to where Annette's voice would fit into the signature sound of the band. But it doesn't really work out that well, in my opinion. There are 2 tracks in particular which I absolutely do not like. And one of them is Bye Bye Beautiful, which apparently is a fan favorite. I'm not a big fan of Marko Heitala's harsh vocals in the chorus. It just totally kills the mood of the song for me. And then you have Master Passion Greed, which is probably my least favorite Nightwish song. Yeah, I absolutely do not like that song at all. I feel like it's way too harsh. It's way too angry for a Nightwish song. It's very out of place. And again, not really feeling Marco Haitala's harsh vocals. They just don't really fit with Nightwish. He does get better as the years go by with his more melodic stuff, with his more melodic singing, but his harsher vocals, nah. Excuse me. But yeah, with Dark Passion Play, there are definitely a lot of cool songs on the record. Whoever Brings the Night's a fun one. For the Heart I Once Had's great. The Islander's a nice Celtic folk-esque song. Eva's a nice ballad. Amaranth is a great song with a catchy chorus. Last of the Wilds is a good instrumental. And Meadows of Heaven is a beautiful ballad. And then my favorite song on the record has to go to the opening track, the 13.5-minute epic masterpiece, The Poet and the Pendulum. Honestly, this is one of their best songs. I absolutely love this track. It's fantastic. But other than that, Dark Passion Play, again, pretty mid of a record, honestly. Next up at number 8, we got the 2011 album, Imaginarium. This is the best album with Annette Olsen on the vocals. I don't think she's a bad, like I said earlier, I don't think she's a bad singer, but I mean, her talents are just don't really fit very well with Nightwish. They do fit better on here, and I mostly credit that to Tomas Halapainen's musical adjustments that he's made. The writing on this record is much better than the writing on Dark Passion Play. There are a lot of great songs on the record. Storytime is great. Ghost River, Slow Love Slow is a great jazz song. Turn Loose the Mermaids is a fun one. Rest Calm is nice. Title track, which basically plays the themes of many of the tracks on the record. That's a great song. Another 13.5-minute epic song of Myself. That's a good song. And then my favorite song has to be The Last Ride of the Day. It's a great song. Love it. What a great album. What a great concept album. It basically tells the story of a composer who is rekindling his livelihood memories as he has his last moments in life. So it's a great album, great story, great songs. Imaginarium comes in here at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we've got the first album to feature Flora Johnson on this list, and that is the 2020 album Human to Nature. This is the second album to feature their current vocalist Flora Johnson on lead vocals, and this has her weakest vocal performance to date. She doesn't do a bad job on this album, but compared to Endless Form's Most Beautiful and Yesterwine, this is her weakest vocal performance, if you ask me. But that said, there are some great songs on the album. Shoemaker is a good song. Harvest is a nice little folky song. How's the Heart is a good song. Endless is a nice little mini epic. Endlessness, yeah. Then Tribal has some really thundering drum beats on it. I love that. Music is a good song. And then my favorite song has to go to the 31-minute instrumental orchestral piece, All the Works of Nature Which Adorn the World series. This is a song that's divided up into 8 parts if you look on YouTube playlists, but together it's 31 minutes of music, and this is a freaking masterpiece. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. It just goes to show the genius of Tomas Halapainen's composing skills. So there's that. Human to Nature. Pretty good album if you ask me, but they made better records. So let's move on. Coming in at number 6, we got the 2000 album, Wishmaster. This is the band's 3rd studio album, and it's really good. It's a great album, actually. From here on out, all these albums are great, at the very least. There's a lot of great songs on this record. She Is My Sin is a killer opening track. Fantastic is another nice little mini epic from the band. Two for Tragedy is a great song. The title track, Wishmaster, is iconic as I Will Get Out. It's a fan favorite in Nightwish's discography for good reason. Crownless is a fun song. And then my favorite song on the record has to go to the power metal driven song, Wanderlust. Another one of my favorite Nightwish songs. And I especially love that chorus where Tarja just totally goes off with her classically trained voice singing at faster tempos. It just works out so freaking well. I love it. But the problem with this album is that it has the worst Nightwish song from this era, The Kinslayer. Don't like it. Don't like it. I just don't think it gels well with the rest of the album. The rest of the album is very fantasy driven, fantasy oriented, and then this song, and then The Kinslayer is just like sucks you back into reality. It's apparently a synth driven, highly upbeat song that was based on the Columbine massacre. Not the best combination if you ask me, but to each their own, I suppose. Excuse me. But with Wishmaster, there's enough good tracks on this. There's enough good tracks on this record, and of course, a great vocal performance from Tarja Turunen. Great performances overall from the whole band. That makes this album here at number 6. So, Wishmaster comes in here at number 6. Moving on to number 5, we got the 2015 album Endless Forms, Most Beautiful. Now, this is the first album to feature Floor Jansen on the vocals, and what a first impression, honestly. Her voice just fits so perfectly with Nightwish's signature sound. And no disrespect to Annette Olsen, she did her best, but in my opinion, Floor Jansen should have been the one to succeed Tarja Turunen instead of Annette Olsen. That's just me. But with Endless Forms Most Beautiful, there are a lot of great songs on the album. The title track has a really powerful chorus. Excuse me. And then you have Alpenglow, which has a really cool music video. It's a great song. Shudder Before the Beautiful is a fun opening track. Then you have Yours is an Empty Hope, which is a great song. The Eyes of Sharbagula is a nice little instrumental piece. And then you have Edema Rue, which is a nice little gentle song. Then you have Our Decades in the Sun, which is an amazing song. And then my favorite song on the album has to be the grand 24-minute epic, The Greatest Show on Earth. I love epic songs, if you can already tell. And The Greatest Show on Earth is definitely one of the best Nightwish songs. One of their longest songs, probably their second longest behind the All the Works of Nature series, From Human to Nature. I mean, overall, Endless Forms Most Beautiful, a killer album from start to finish. I absolutely love this record. Alright, so with that said, Endless Forms Most Beautiful comes in here at number 5. Let's talk about my top 4 favorite Nightwish albums. Alright, number 4, we've got the 2024 album, Yesterwine. This album came out literally 3.5 months ago, give or take a few days. And yeah, this album is absolutely insane. The songwriting is a top-notch here. Tomas Halapainen is once again flexing his composer muscles all throughout this album. Floor Jansen, this has her best vocal performance thus far. She just continues to get better and better. Well, I mean, Endless Forms Most Beautiful happened, and then it kind of dipped down on Human to Nature. And then with this album, it just shot out of the roof. This album, Yesterwine, is so majestic from start to finish. You could definitely tell that Nightwish is trying to at least call back to their classic era with songs like the title track, An Ocean of Strange Islands, The Day Of, Sway, Spider Silk, Hiraeth, The Weave, and then my two favorite songs on the record. These were really hard to choose, but you have Something Whispered Followed Me, which is an amazing power metal-esque song. And then my favorite song on the record has to go to the closing ballad, Lantern Light. Probably one of the best songs the band has ever made. Like, holy mackerel, what a masterpiece. I love this album. Probably my album of the year, low-key. But I mean, overall, Yesterwind, what a record. What more do you want me to say? Comes in here at number 4. Number 3, we got the 2002 album, Century Child. I think with these last 3 records, I think these are records that most Nightwish fans would have in the top 3. But with Century Child, this is a great album. I'm not going to lie, on my very first listen to the record, I was a little bit underwhelmed with it, considering how many slow songs were on the record. And I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of slow-moving albums, especially slow albums that sort of lack variety within the record. Looking at You, Sail Away from Great White. But with Century Child, the one thing that I can at least say about this record is that the slower songs on this album hit really, really hard. My favorite tracks are Bless the Child, Feel for You, their amazing rendition of Phantom of the Opera from the show, The End of All Hope, the 10-minute opus that is The Beauty of the Beast, Ocean Soul, and my favorite song on the record, and another one of my favorite Nightwish songs, Ever Dream. A killer vocal performance from Tarja. Great production, great songwriting, great everything. It's Nightwish. What more do you want me to say? Century Child, love this album, one of their best. So, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, we got the 1998 album, Oceanborn. This is the record that pretty much put them on the map. This was their sophomore album, and the difference between Oceanborn and Angels Fall First is night and day. Oceanborn is just better in every single way possible. There are so many classic songs on this record. The Devil in the Deep Dark Ocean, Stargazers, Gethsemane, The Riddler, Passion in the Opera, the great instrumental that is Moon Dance, Swan Heart, and then my favorite song on the record, and easily one of my favorite Nightwish songs, and one of the very first songs I ever heard from Nightwish, Sacrament of Wilderness. Absolutely love this song. Love this album. What more do you want me to say? Oceanborn, it's a flawless masterpiece. I absolutely love it. Okay, so now we have finally reached it. Number 1, Process of Elimination. If you're a Nightwish fan, then you know what album is left. And number 1, we got the 2004 album, Once. This surprises absolutely no one. No one at all. This is the band's most iconic record. It's the record that blew them up. It's a record that solidified the band as symphonic metal, power metal legends within the whole European soundscape. And arguably, this record probably has Tarja Turunen's best vocal performance. Tarja is my favorite singer from Nightwish, if you couldn't already tell. Yes, not surprised at all. Many Nightwish fans are. But for good reason. Her voice is just so beautiful and so angelic. It is just ridiculous. And unfortunately, this would be the last album with Tarja on vocals before she was infamously kicked out of the band. If you know, you know. But man, in terms of her career with Nightwish, what a way to go out. There are a lot of classic songs on here. Dark Chest of Wonders, Wish I Had an Angel, great little industrial metal-esque jam. Planet Hell, the siren, Death Makes an Artist, which is the translation of the Finnish song. Near the very end of the record, I'm not going to say the Finnish title because I know I'm going to butcher that. Then you have Dead Gardens, Ghost Love Score, Higher Than Hope, Nemo, which is one of their classic songs and one of their best songs. And then my favorite song on the record, and quite possibly my favorite Nightwish song, it's very interchangeable, but it has to go to Creep Mary's Blood. Absolutely love this song. This whole album is just a masterpiece from start to finish. I absolutely love Once. And if any of you have never listened to this record before, go do it right freaking now. Because even 20 years later, this album sounds awesome. This is where the band peaked, in my opinion. Vocally speaking, musically speaking, performance speaking, like, just, it was their peak. What more do you want me to say? They never got better than this. And they're going to have to try really hard. Yesterwine was very close, but they're going to have to try really hard to try and top this album. For me, at least. But with that said, Once comes in here at number 1. It's one of the most beautiful records I've ever heard in my life. It's wowzers. Alright, so, with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thank you for watching.